Shifting tides, global opinion and the Israel-Palestine conflict in the wake of the aid worker tragedies. The Israel-Palestine conflict, a long-standing and deeply rooted dispute, has once again captured the world's attention, but this time through a prism of profound tragedy and escalating tensions. The recent targeting and killing of 7 aid workers in the region has not only underscored the perilous conditions under which the humanitarian missions operate, but has also acted as a catalyst, seemingly shifting the global tide of opinion against Israel. This incident, in the middle of a complex landscape of historical conflict, poses new questions about the future of international relations, the protection of human rights, and the path towards peace in one of the world's most volatile regions. Welcome to the Global Insight. At the heart of this issue is a conflict that has spanned decades, characterized by cycles of violence, ceasefires, and attempts at negotiation, all against the backdrop of competing national narratives and territorial claims. The recent tragedy involving aid workers brings to light the grave risks faced by those attempting to provide relief and support to civilians caught in the crossfire, challenging the international community to reassess its approach to the conflict and its consequences. So what happened on that fateful day? Within 4 minutes on the 1st of April 2024, 7 people working for the World Central Kitchen were killed when 3 missiles destroyed their cars one by one. World Central Kitchen, or WCK, a non-profit aid organization, reported that despite coordinating their movements with the Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, their convoy was targeted and struck by what is believed to be highly precise Israeli drone-fired missiles as it departed from a warehouse in Deir el-Balah. It happened shortly after the convoy had successfully delivered over 100 tons of aid, which had been transported into northern Gaza via the newly constructed aid jetty. The IDF admitted responsibility and subsequently fired 2 senior officers following an investigation into the airstrikes.
Last night, an incident took place in Gaza that resulted in the tragic death of World Central Kitchen employees. The incident will be investigated in the fact-finding and assessment mechanism.
In fact, in over 6 months of war in Gaza, around 200 aid workers have been killed, but few of them have received as much attention as the 7 employees of the World Central Kitchen. It's this targeting of humanitarian workers that has elicited a wave of international condemnation, prompting a reassessment of policies, alliances, and strategies concerning the Israel-Palestine standoff.
7 aid workers with the charity World Central Kitchen were killed. The group included 3 British people, a Pole, an Australian, a Palestinian, and a dual US-Canadian citizen.
It's well over 6 months since the 7th of October attacks in 2023, when Hamas and several other Palestinian militant groups launched coordinated armed incursions from the Gaza Strip into the Gaza envelope of southern Israel. This was the first invasion of Israeli territory since the Arab-Israeli War of 1948. They carried out attacks on military bases and massacred civilians in Israeli communities, killing 1,139 people, including 695 Israeli citizens, of which 36 were children, 71 foreign nationals, 373 members of the security forces. In addition to this, about 250 Israeli civilians and soldiers were taken as hostages to the Gaza Strip, including 30 children, with the stated goal of forcing Israel to release Palestinian prisoners.
كان אני איתך, באתי להציל אותך. יאללה, בוא, הכל בסדר. מה אתה צריך? טיפול ראשוני, יש מישהו צריך משהו?
At least 44 countries denounced the attack as terrorism, while some Arab and Muslim countries blamed Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories as the root cause of the attack. The attack itself is considered the bloodiest day in Israel's history and the deadliest for Jews since the Holocaust. The IDF launched Operation Swords of Iron in Gaza and declared a state of emergency for areas within 80 kilometres or 50 miles of the Gaza border. Since the war began, over 30,000 Palestinian people have been killed. This figure includes over 13,000 children, with over 12,000 presumed dead and 71,000 injured, many suffering life-changing injuries. Residential areas have been extensively destroyed, forcing 80% of the population into displacement.
30,000 Palestinians in Gaza. The official number being given to us this morning is 30,035 killed since October the 7th. Just over 70,000 people injured as well. Now, the Israeli military.
Families have been shattered, unable to bury their loved ones due to the widespread destruction. Thousands have been detained and subjected to inhumane treatment. Some countries and international organisations are saying that Israel's actions may amount to genocide, citing intentional distortion of principles of just war to justify genocidal violence against Palestinians. Indeed, this violence will have long-lasting intergenerational effects, perpetuating collective trauma for years to come. The distressingly high level of civilian Palestinian casualties is due to Hamas's diabolical embedding of their terrorist fighters among the populace. The intention is to make Israel's warfighting very difficult, and that is the challenge that the IDF must meet: to attack and destroy Hamas while sparing the bystanders, a challenge it's not always meeting. In the midst of the ongoing conflict, the battlefield becomes even more intricate as Israeli forces employ advanced technologies like drones and robots against Hamas, which utilizes guerrilla warfare techniques such as stealth, ambushes and surprises. The battleground, especially in densely populated urban areas, sees Hamas militants moving around in civilian attire, according to IDF reports, using booby traps and other tactics to target Israeli soldiers. Analysts point out that the IDF faces the dual challenge of targeting Hamas operatives while also endeavouring to secure the release of hostages, both Israeli and international. This delicate balance underscores the complex nature of modern urban warfare, where distinguishing between combatant and non-combatant becomes increasingly difficult. The IDF's contention that this latest attack on aid workers was an error born out of misidentification and miscommunication is troubling, as WCK has been successfully sharing their coordinates directly with the military for weeks to avoid being targeted. IDF sources have been quoted as saying that this could be because commanders on the ground are making their own decisions outside of the chain of command. According to the American-owned global intelligence survey company Morning Consult, just prior to the killing of the WCK aid workers, the American electorate's sympathy for the Palestinian people had reached a high point, as more voters expressed disapproval of how Israel was handling its war in Gaza, and fewer voters than before say that they support US military assistance to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government. Indeed, demonstrations reignited across Israel against their veteran leader, fueled by families of hostages and political opponents, particularly after he underwent a 2-day hospital stay for hernia surgery. His dismissive initial response to the drone strike that such incidents occur during war sparked international outrage and global condemnation. This concluded with a rebuke from Joe Biden concerning the fatalities, potentially indicating a pivotal shift in the direction of Israel's military actions. Despite the substantial pressure from both within Israel and internationally, Netanyahu shows no sign of stepping down from his position. But the tide of international opinion is turning. As of March 2024, and in a poll conducted by Gallup, US approval of Israeli action in Gaza has dropped from 50% to 36% since November, with half of US adults saying that Israel has gone too far in the war in Gaza. In fact, net favourability, the percentage of people viewing Israel positively after subtracting the percentage viewing it negatively, dropped globally by an average of 18.5 percentage points between September and December, decreasing in 42 out of the 43 countries polled. Indeed, China, South Africa, Brazil, and several other countries in Latin America all went from viewing Israel positively to negatively. And many rich countries that already had net negative views of Israel, including Japan, South Korea, and the UK, saw steep declines. And although Ireland and Spain have always been outspoken against the war, it seems that history is starting to be on their side as more and more EU diplomats in places such as Slovenia, Belgium, Malta, Portugal, and Luxembourg are emboldened to look beyond the war to a two-state solution as the only way forward. Indeed, European and international exasperation increases with each day that passes, and Israel finds itself being censured further. As Israel conducts its campaign through the Gaza Strip and more Palestinian lives are lost, what will be the end result? Israel claims that it seeks the destruction of Hamas, but will it stop there? What damage will be done and at what cost? How many more innocent civilians will suffer before the fighting stops? What can the rest of the world do as it looks on in increasing disgust? That's it for now. For more great insight on the latest events from around the world, simply like and subscribe to this channel. Let us know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with the actions that Israel are taking? Or do you sympathize with the Palestinians? Do you think that a two-state solution is the only way out of this decades-old conflict? Here at The Global Insight, we want to know. And until next time, stay tuned.